When I first started doing the Toxic Workplace series, I had never thought that I would be doing this video. And as it turns out, I guess that I will be doing this video on a piece of the puzzle that I hadn't really planned to tackle on camera, in part because it's a deep, dark part, I guess, of my story that I don't like to talk about really. I didn't really articulate it to myself very much. And it's about friendships, and it's about getting old, and it's about dying long before your time, and what the relationship was and could have been in the meantime. And of course, spending your time wisely while you have it, which is always the lesson when someone passes away who is dear to us. I am talking about one of my really good friends. I've known her since I was 17 years old. I moved up here and got to be good friends with her and her sister. They were like two peas in a pod, basically, since they were born. You never saw one without the other, and they never went anywhere without each other, and they were a blast. They were just so fun. And back in my teenage days, we were a little wild, and we had Wednesday night warm-ups where we'd all just sit around and we'd drink blueberry wine and get blue teeth and tongues, and just it's a very small town, and back then it was the original hotel from the town. It was like the Wild West, and I had come here from not the city but a pretty big southern town in Ontario, so it was quite the difference, and I loved it. And I was not of age. I was 17. I think we may have gone in a few times. She was of age though, or she turned of age, I think, shortly after I moved up here. So she would go to the liquor store and buy us our contraband. Yeah, she was the life of the party in a way. She'd set up our social schedule. She'd do phone calls because back then we had no cell phones. So she'd call, find out where the parties were. She'd get somebody to drive us. Crazy times. We had some really crazy times. I could never keep up the pace now, and she couldn't either. She worked at the store with me for the last 3 years. Her dad actually had hired me to work for him and them years ago. He had the grocery store in town here. He passed away in the spring. So I was not expecting to get a call yesterday. I guess it was the day before, around supper time, that her she was supposed to have been into work and she didn't show up. So they called her sister and she went in to see what was going on, and she found her passed away in her apartment. I just can't even imagine. Those two are so close. I don't know. I can't even imagine it. I was actually with my ex-husband when he passed away, and I wasn't right with him. I found him. We were working together, and I didn't realize that he had passed away. I thought he was outside, and I came in or upstairs from the basement, and he had come inside the house and passed away. Odd thing about that was the dog was barking, and I thought she was just barking because he was talking outside. I thought she was barking at them outside, and she was barking because he had passed away, or maybe was at least in dire straits. And I just add that in because I had no idea. It didn't occur to me for a minute that that's what was going on. And anyway, my heart just goes out to her sister because she's going to be just lost without her, and what she's going to have to go through. It's actually my second really good friend who's lost a sister that they've been really close to. I have a sister. We're not like peas in a pod, but I dread the day. Actually, the two girls had been at my ex-husband's celebration of life, and I remember sitting there thinking, boy, someday it's going to be one of us. And I just dread the day that who is it going to be, who's going to be left. And if it's one of those two, it's going to be really hard. So anyway, that's the backstory. She was her early 60s, I think, a couple of years older than me, and she didn't take really good care of her health. She didn't never did really get out of the drinking. She wasn't a binge drinker, but she was in the habit of drinking, having a few drinks after work, and who the hell can blame her? And she smoked, was a heavy smoker through her life, and so was her sister and her mom. And um, so that part probably had a part to play. I don't know all of the details. I don't think they've done, like, they found out yet, but I believe she had been to the doctor, basically the same things I've been in for. She was on, they put her on anti-anxieties and antacid kind of stuff, and I had been having the same issues. And I can't say it was the job, but I will say there's no way that the stress of that place, just the negativity, doesn't play. Fortunately, she was a very, very nice person, and she used to love hugging everybody. She'd been in retail her whole life because through her dad, and then her sister bought her dad's store, and so she knows the town. She knows everybody in it. Very loving family. So everybody knew her. Her sister had posted on Facebook, and within 45 minutes, there was just a stream of condolences and well wishes and heartbreak. And her sister answered every single one, and that is them right there. And what it has to do with me and the job, I just really want to illustrate how things like this can go really wrong, how toxic people at a work situation can just ruin things in ways that you will never see coming. I had, when I left the store, part of the reason also I'm not going back is I really just had no support from my coworkers. I didn't hear from any of them except for the one, and that was for not very long. And um, my friend had said when I left, call me. And I was a little ticked because she just had not supported me in it. She just said she was staying out of it. I can understand that 100%. I said, I understand that. Inside, I was a little hurt because I feared, at least between us, she could have been a little more supportive. I believe now that she's gone, and you see everything 2020, when people pass away, you really feel their energy more than their deeds. You feel like you've lost a substantial piece of your life every time someone that you really loved, and it was your friend, passes. It's something that we really deal with a lot as we get older, and I'm going to be delving more into that because it's a big thing that we need to address. So anyway, I wasn't really happy. I didn't call her. I said to her, well, you can call me anytime. And a big reason I didn't was just because I really didn't want anybody at that store knowing anything of my business, didn't want them hearing any word from me whatsoever. I didn't want to stir any of the pots. I didn't want them getting any, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want anything. I just didn't want anything. Not that she would have even really said anything, but you never know. And but another piece of it was that I just felt really hurt, and I didn't think that she had supported me. And she had worked with me enough that she knew what they were saying was crap. She knew them all well enough to know. She hadn't come to me with a lot of the stuff that was going on, and she knew about it, and I just didn't think it was very nice. So the way this plays in is, as it turns out, a couple weeks ago, my dog ran away, and she's basically a special needs dog. If I hadn't been able to find her, she would have died running because she was so anxious. She would never stop pacing and trotting along. And when I did get her the next day, she was in pretty bad shape already. And it was in part because she had texted me, put it on Facebook, and she saw someone post and that wasn't in my friend group, and texted me right away, gave me hugs, and was very happy when I found the dog. And I did text her and thanked her. We weren't on bad terms. We just weren't being as close as we should have been. And I thanked her, but I didn't take it any farther than that. She didn't take it any farther. So I thought, if you're not going to even ask me how I am, and it didn't occur to me to even ask her how she is, just assumed she was fine. And 2 weeks later, the next time I opened the phone, under her name, that's the last message that there is. It's just some hugs and glad that I found the dog. And I remember the last words to me from her mouth were, "Call me," and I never called. And I'm not so much feeling guilty because there was a lot playing into it, but I never thought for a minute I would never see her again. And I wish, of course, that I had called her, and had either one of us known, I'm sure we would have talked to each other and told each other how precious we were. She was a blast. I loved working with her. She was great. I always knew she was on my side when we were working. She would always give me things. If we got freebies, she'd make sure I got some. And just, we could talk about anything. We'd talk about stuff she couldn't talk about to other people and in the store. And her mom was just the greatest, but she has Alzheimer's, so it's going to be really tough. And she lost her husband quite a few years ago. He was older than her, so we just like to think that they're together now. And a funny little story. I'm just hoping my video isn't going to run out of space. I still have issues here. When he died, they lived down the road from me, and the hydro wire fell on a tree back down there. It was sparking, and honestly, I'm not usually even down at the end of the driveway in the dark. And I saw it, and I said, that's him. And I told her, and we were kind of laughing about it because I always think I hear something. So I was joking to her in my head, and I said, don't set any of my trees on fire. So the first morning, I'm looking out the window, and doesn't a truck come down the hill? And in my mind, and this is how I can always tell the messages who they're from, because she's the first one that popped into my mind, and all I could see was a headlight coming down the hill, and it's dark, and I'm thinking, she used to come down that hill a million times, and she'll never come down it again. Doesn't this great big truck that looks just like a fire truck in the dark, big red lights and everything, I couldn't tell if they were flashing because there's trees. And I laughed. I said, oh, there's the fire truck. And if it didn't happen again this morning, I'm like, thank you for saying good morning. Thank you for your good morning. And there's something else I'm going to be doing a book review on. I didn't look to see what it was. It's something about being happy. And it's a story of a man who lost his son, and he'd already been working on a thesis on how to be happy. And there's a lot in it about that's kind of the structure of his story. And I don't want to talk too much about it. This is getting a little long. I'm going to blow my phone up and wreck the video. The main message, of course, is if you have someone that you love and you need to reach out to them, at least try, because you don't know. It could be tomorrow, might be your last day. And if you're in a toxic work situation and you have friends in there, it is tough. It is so tough. She had to work in there with all those people. She's the only decent one left there. I will never go back there. She was the only reason that I even half thought about maybe. And but if you have a friend, a good friend, and you're working with all of that, maybe just be a little more mindful of their part and what it's like for them, and just be a little more forgiving and a little more grateful maybe for what you have, and just get through it with them together, and don't waste any time on hurt feelings or grudges or negativity. Don't let that negativity come into your life or between you. And I hope that you listen and that there might be somebody you might reach out to today. And have a great day.